Okay, so you're a small business owner who's worried about competition. I get it. Now, I know that for a lot of small business owners, this is an emotional and scary subject. So I'm going to try to be as sensitive and gentle as I can be with what I'm going to tell you should do. Stop it. Not only should you not fret about competition, you should actually be excited about it. And in this video, first I'm going to tell you why, and then I'm going to show you what you can do to make it so that every dollar your competition spends promoting themselves actually drives business to you. I've owned 21 successful small businesses. 12 of them were bankruptcy or near bankruptcy turnarounds. 9 of them were startups that I started from scratch. All 21 were very profitable and became market leaders. And just a quick but admittedly shameless plug for what I do now. All of my companies ended up as businesses that could run themselves without depending upon me at all to grow and thrive. What I do now is teach other business owners how to do that. Okay, so what I'm going to say next, you're probably not going to believe at first, but it's proven true, at least in every single one of my businesses, plus hundreds of other companies that I've worked with. And here it is. You shouldn't spend a lot of energy worrying about competition because there's more market than you and all of your competitors can service combined. And you can actually put your competitors to work for you. Let me give you an example. In 2004, I acquired a dumpster fire, like a nearly bankrupt lighting store in a small market in Utah. Now, most lighting stores, at least in our market, get their business off of new construction. And so you'd think that because there's only a limited number of construction projects going on in our service area, that there's limited demand for small independent lighting stores. Nope. Here's what we actually found. A huge majority of lighting buyers didn't even know that lighting stores like ours were a thing. So they were buying, frankly, crap products from big mega stores like Home Depot and Lowe's and even Walmart, or online stores like Wayfair or Grainger. The bigger problem for independent lighting stores isn't some other lighting store coming in. It's that most people don't even know that companies like ours exist. 7 competitors came into our service area in the couple of years after I acquired that lighting store. The closest one was actually a previous customer, an electrician who used to buy from us until he opened up a lighting store within rock throwing distance of our front door. And believe me, I stood out there and thought about it. Not only did all of that competition not hurt us, it helped us. It brought more attention to the fact that lighting stores are a thing. And then, by doing what I'm going to share with you in this video, that company, Hanson Lighting, became one of the fastest growing companies in America. It made the Inc. 5000 fastest growing companies list a few years ago, and today is one of the largest wholesale suppliers of lighting products in North America. Let me give you another example with a totally different product type, software. In 2010, I launched a software into the lighting showroom industry. We'd been working on some simple software for Hanson Lighting to solve a specific problem that lighting showrooms were facing. I won't bore you with the details about what the software did, but what I will say is that the lighting showroom market is a teeny, tiny little niche market. If it was a fish, it would be the one that gets swallowed sideways by a minnow, probably a really small minnow. There's only like 3,500 lighting stores in North America. In 2010, when I started selling our little software, which we'd been working on since 2005, I quickly discovered that a competitor doing almost exactly the same thing had launched a couple years earlier. Then within a year after our launch, 2 more competitors came into the space. One of them was started by a big player in the industry who had over $1 million to spend on marketing alone. While we had, carry the one, about $1 million less than that to spend on marketing. This was right during the middle of the Great Recession, which hit the lighting market really hard because it hit the housing market really hard. Fast forward, and by 2012, so 2 years after we'd started an arms race in the teeny tiny little lighting showroom industry, all 4 of the competitors combined had captured only around 50% of the market. And our software had 30% of that. It was larger than all of the other competitors combined. By the way, in 2012, that company that had over $1 million to spend, they sold to us for 0 cash down and just a percentage of their own revenue. We'd been beating them so badly with what I'm going to show you that they gave up and just gave us their business for a percentage of their own sales. And one final point, just to really kind of hammer the point home. In 2021, I sold that little teeny software company for more than $30 million to a very large buyer, a very large and savvy multi-billion-dollar company that was convinced that there was still a ton more market to capture in that one teeny little niche. So if you're worried that there's not enough pie, seriously, Stop it. There's more market than you and all of your competitors together can service. Put that energy instead on what I'm going to show you, what comes next. We're going to turn your competition into your best friend. Let's say that this box represents your market. Your competitors are going to be very reliable in doing one thing, and they will do this one thing virtually without fail. They'll clump themselves all together and compete with each other up here over one word, and that word is most. They'll do it every time. We'll save you the most money. We have the most selection, the most quality, or the most service, or in software, it's the most features or most options, the most things it'll do. Just look at all this stuff you can do. When they demo, it will sound something like this. Okay, well, thanks for hopping on today. Let me show you what this baby's got. You can do this, and then you can click over here and do this, and then you can tap on this and select that, and it'll make oatmeal and cure acne and get politicians to tell the truth. And that's just for starters. And their websites will be the same way. Big feature lists with long lists of checkboxes that you have to scroll through for like 15 minutes to get to the bottom of, just to prove that they have the most features and options. And your competition will reliably clump themselves up here into the most corner. And then they'll spend a whole bunch of money promoting it, promoting the most corner. Well, at the same time, what they're doing is they're promoting the box as a whole, the overall category, which we'll get to in a second. But I think if you look really closely, most, if not all of your competitors, are promoting some form of most of the time. And what you're going to do is you're going to let your competition go ahead and clump up there around most. And you're going to position yourself down here all alone with, you guessed it, least. Let me give you a quick business tip. Don't try to be the best, be the only. And if you follow the pattern I'm going to show you to position yourself down here under the least, I'll bet $1 to a dog donut that you'll be the only one who's doing it. And no, I'm not really sure what a dog donut is. Here's how to do it. I'm going to break it down into two parts. Part one, we need to solve a real problem. And before I get to the rest, we need to solve a real problem using the smallest ET. And no, I'm not talking about the little shiny-fingered alien from the 80s. And here's a secret. The real problem is the same problem every time. There's something that I should be doing, but I don't have enough ET, and we'll explain that in just a second. In order to understand ET, we got to do a little bit of economics, but just a little bit. I don't want you to fall into a coma here. I did a degree in economics, and I studied this stuff for over 4 years. And I'm going to try to simplify some basic economics for you down into 3 letters. And those 3 letters are M, E, T. It's what I call the met needs concept. Every transaction in some form is money in exchange for energy and or time. And that's it. I pay money for a pencil because I don't want to spend the energy and time cutting down the tree in my neighbor's backyard when they're not home and carving it into little tubes and then getting some lead together and whatever the heck erasers are made of to assemble a pencil myself. I pay money to eat at a restaurant when I don't want to spend the energy and time burning my own food and then cleaning up the dishes. People pay millions of dollars for exotic sports cars because they don't want to spend all of the energy and time to build up status, one person at a time. They exchange money to save energy and time for a status symbol that tells everybody they drive past that, well, I'm in a lot of debt. Every transaction is some form of money in exchange for ET, energy and time. And if you get that, the next part is going to make perfect sense. We need to solve the real problem by having the smallest, the least energy and time that's required of our customers. No matter what it is, the one that costs the least ET will win. Or as I like to say, simple is when it's the simplest choice. When you really think about it, the simplest anything is just the one that costs the least amount of energy and time. So remember this, as ET goes down, M automatically goes up. And the closer that you can get ET to 0, the closer that M gets to infinity. Now, all we got to do to finish the first part is fill in a particular blank. Your potential clients are thinking to themselves, I should be blank, but I don't have enough ET. And we know now that ET is energy and time. Let me give you an example of this that will hopefully fill this in clearly. Another one of my startups, one that we started in November of 2019, just as COVID was getting ready to bury the economy and then bury the shovel, we serviced another niche market, specialty home furnishings. And again, there was a very small customer base out there that were independent niche home furnishing suppliers. And the nature of their market was such that they had to keep their product offering fresh. Most buyers for their stuff were the types that would go out and hunt for new styles and new ideas. And so the big dogs in the industry had whole teams dedicated to posting fresh stuff online and on social media multiple times a week, and refreshing their website multiple times a week, and keeping all of that in sync so that if someone clicked on their social media to go to their website, the products would be aligned. Their buyers were always looking for something new to discover, and that was the name of the game in this industry. So the real problem statement was, I should be posting online multiple times a week and updating our website to stay aligned, but I don't have the energy or time to do that. And again, I say this with a high level of confidence. The most valuable real problems always start with, I should be blank, but I don't have the ET, the energy or time. That software company, when we entered the market as COVID was hitting, there was a lot of competition, but it was really fragmented. One of the larger companies had been servicing that industry for over 20 years and built up to, I think, around 27 showroom clients. They were a full service marketing agency with lots of people and all kinds of services that they could do for you and options to pick. 1 year after we launched our simple software that did just one thing, it posted 3 to 4 times per week and kept your website updated at the same time, and that's it. We had almost 200 showroom clients paying more than double what the full service company had. And anytime someone clicked onto an ad for that lighting showroom marketing firm or any one of our other competitors or went to a booth at a trade show, they'd start searching around before making a decision. And then they'd find us. They'd choose our software. Why? Because it required the least amount of energy and time. 2 years after I started that company, had an offer to buy it for over $6 million. Simplicity, or as I like to say, simplicity, is the new oil, or like the new gold from the 1940s. It's why Apple and Google are some of the most valuable companies in the world. Think about it. When like MSN and Yahoo were creating portals with the most information, Google puts up a white page with a box and a button that says search. If you want to be thoroughly convinced, go get the book, Nail It, Then Scale It. I might get some of the details wrong, but it talks about a software company that was launching a new software and then went out and asked potential customers what they'd pay for the software with something like 40 features or something like that. And the customers gave an amount. And then they asked them, well, which 2 or 3 features do you value the most? And there was a pretty clear consensus around maybe 4 or 5 of them. So then the company went out and asked again what they'd pay if the software had only those 4 or 5 features. They were trying to figure out how much less valuable the software would be if it was pared down to just the basics. You know, what they found was shocking. The amount customers were willing to pay went up. Customers were willing to pay more for less. And if I remember right, it was like over double. The simplest solution, the one that makes me spend the least amount of energy and time, is the one that doesn't make me climb over anything that I don't care about to get a real problem solved. So, if you position yourself down here all alone by first filling in this blank, what's something that your potential clients know that they should be doing, but they don't have the amount of energy and time to do it themselves? This is a valuable, real problem. Then You build, or if you need to, transition your product to get as close to zero ET as possible. And now, here's part two, and that's how you pitch it on your website, your brochures, if you do sales calls or demos. It's always the same core message. You, client, will never have to worry about blank, whatever the real problem is. All you have to do is blank. And this blank should be filled with an ET that is as close to zero as you can make it, right? And it needs to be as specific as possible. So for example, you will never have to worry about posting and keeping your website updated multiple times per week. All you have to do is send us your logo and do a 30-minute onboarding call so that we can dial our software into your suppliers and get a little bit of technical information about your online sites. That was our sales pitch. That was the sales pitch that created $6 million worth of value in 2 years through COVID. And that's it. It's some form of set it and forget it, to steal a line from Ron Popeil, the rotisserie chicken guy. Our lighting showroom, for example, we targeted home builders, contractors. In the lighting industry, back orders are a major, major problem. Only about 30% of whole home lighting orders are delivered on time and accurate. So with the money that we could have spent fretting about and battling our competition, we invested in a little system that connected with our suppliers' computers so that we could know about back orders ahead of time and then purchase extras if we needed to. It got to where we were often the only supplier in the country that had plenty of an item while everyone else had delays. Over 93% of our orders were on time and accurate. And then we even have what we call a SWAT service team for those 7% that aren't. All of that was built around the idea of being able to say to our target audience, you will never have to worry about lighting on any of the hundreds of projects you build each year. All you have to do is send your clients to the closest of our multiple locations, and that's it. ET as close to zero as possible, even if it's not our fault. Let's say an electrician drops and breaks a big piece of glass from an expensive fixture. Our team just takes care of it, no questions asked. For our contractors, we are literally shooting to be the zero ET. And that sets us as an only down here. We're down here on our own corner. You have the least amount of ET with us. Everyone else in that industry is up here promoting the most savings, that's the obvious one, and the most selection and the most style, etc. So back to where we started. Why should you be excited about competition? Because if you'll do what I'm teaching you here, they'll promote the box that you're both in. And then, as people explore the box, as they always do before making a big decision, you'll be all alone down here as the easy decision, or as I like to say, the simplest choice. And maybe I should trademark that. This is how you put your competitors' promotion and marketing to work for you. They're promoting the category, and as long as you're down here all alone while they're up here squabbling over, we have the most, then you're going to win. A huge majority of the people who come in here to explore this box because they put them in there. There's a number of our businesses that don't do any marketing at all. We just focus on this being the zero ET. And then we let our competitors do all of the marketing for us. So I encourage you to do the same in your business. Now, if this content was helpful for you, there's 2 things that you can do now. Well, in addition to working on the stuff from the video. The first is to subscribe to the channel and share this with anyone who might benefit. And I would actually appreciate that. And second, go to businessthatrunsitself.com and sign up for my Shop Notes newsletter. Shop Notes is a weekly newsletter, and it's totally free, where I go back through all my notes from the last 30 years and share this kind of stuff, but in even more practical and tactical ways, like the very specific things that we did to address problems in one or more of my businesses, stuff that worked and even stuff that didn't. So I'll see you there.